Hi, my name is Lauren Cutlip. I was the head coach for the middle school girls volleyball team this fall 2021 season. Though I had only coached once before on the club season for a 14s team last year, I was really excited for this opportunity to mentor these bubbly, bright 6th to 8th graders. Much of the team was either brand new to the sport or had only practiced in the year prior due to COVID, so we really had a fresh start to work with. The players brought with them to the season an enthusiasm and willingness to learn, which is something you can't really coach. As we reviewed the fundamentals of the game, from passing, platforms, setting, and serving, I had the joy of watching each of their personalities surface as their shyness subsided and they formed close friendships with each other, from rushing to partner up with each other in each passing drill to carpooling from practice to get ice cream or staying after to support the varsity team. While that social aspect is an important part of any team, I promise we worked hard in practice each day as well. From warm-ups to drilling and scrimmaging and the quick feet ladder drill that they love so much, I was so impressed by the grit and determination that even some of the smallest and youngest players displayed, working tirelessly to get their serves over the net and even asking for extra playing time in the games, which clearly paid off in the end. And these skills, I'm sure, will only continue to grow as the players keep practicing, hopefully even in the off-season when they get the chance. I also got to witness some blooming leaders in the mix, whether by observed example of their strong hits, serves, digs, and serve-receive passes, or by instruction when they'd show the younger players proper form or offer pointers in a constructive way. Though there were times that the team and I both felt the need to just go home and call it a day before the end of practice, there was overall a positive energy, positive attitude brought to the court, and I'm very grateful for that. Speaking of grateful, shout out to all the parents that got a special guest here. Shout out to the parents that brought snacks for each game, showed up on time after practices and games, and were very patient with me as I navigated this new role. And the biggest thank you to my assistant coach, Miss Robertson. She was navigating this role as a first-time volleyball coach as well as being a first-time teacher at North Cross, and was really key to making it a successful season, really picking up my slack when I had to be away for work, even leading a couple games and practices, and then handling them, getting them from setting hall to warm up to setting up the net and all the things in between. Good luck to everyone with the rest of your school year, and I will definitely be around to say hi, especially to my basketball stars out on the court. So don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out with any questions. I am happy to help. Thanks for everything, and happy holidays.
Good morning and welcome. As I sit down to record this reflection on the 2021 boys middle school soccer season, I must admit I miss looking out into the crowd to watch all of you fine young athletes line up at the back of the auditorium. This moment is always the highlight of the speech process for me. With that being said, I'm extremely thankful that we were able to come together as a team this fall to compete. I've never been as excited to get to work as I was this year. The lessons and attributes that are developed through sport can have a lasting impact on one's life, and I believe that being part of a team with shared experiences and goals can play a pivotal role in the development of our communities, both large and small. With that being said, I would like to thank all that made our season and team possible this year. From the leadership of Dr. Proctor and the NCS community to our athletic department led by Blair Trail, I say thank you. To Coach Brown and Coach Ezra, your dedication and hard work with the North Cross Soccer family is greatly appreciated. Finally, I owe a huge thank you to our parents who entrusted your children with me and dealt with the continued unpredictability of athletics in 2021. The 2021 season, while different in many ways, felt very familiar because of the growth and support that takes place when 20-plus young people come together to work towards a common goal. John Wooden, the legendary UCLA basketball coach, once said, "A player who makes a team great is so much more valuable than a great player. Losing yourself in the group for the good of the group, that's teamwork." While many schools had a difficult time making it through their athletic seasons this fall, our team members and school did not waver. We followed the health protocols that allowed us to participate in a full athletic season this fall. While a record of 3-2-3 on the surface might not appear to meet the high standards of our soccer program, a deeper dive shows a team that was getting better by leaps and bounds as we went through the season and defeated our conference rivals Carlisle to end the season by a score of 3-0. The team was led by four outstanding eighth graders and a balanced group of younger players. The true success of our season was represented through the support that we showed each other and the fun that we had together. For that, I would like to say thank you to every member of the 2021 boys middle school soccer team, and I look forward to watching you grow as student athletes in the years to come. Thank you, and have a great day.
Good morning. I'm honored to spend a few minutes talking about our middle school cross-country team. I would like to thank all of our middle school runners for their commitment to the program this year and for the wonderful support of all the middle school parents. I would also like to thank all of the people who helped to support our program from day to day, including Tracy Schaefer, Coach Pollock, Mrs. Williams, and Blair Trail. I also want to thank my assistant coach, Lauren Horner, who is just a huge part of our program and who brings so much experience and knowledge to each practice. We had a fantastic group of 15 middle school runners this year, and this included 9 new runners to the program who brought a lot of enthusiasm and talent to the team. Our 6 returning middle school runners provided a great foundation to our program, and they also made practice fun for everyone. Unlike many of the other middle school teams, our cross-country team, both middle school and varsity, all practice together each day and travel together to all of our races and off-campus practices. We started our summer runs during the second week of June, and the middle school runners were some of the most dedicated and focused members of the team. They did not shy away from hard workouts, including doing varsity-level training runs. As good runners often do, they made hard training sessions look almost fun, and they encouraged their teammates after every interval, hill repeat, or tempo effort. As a coach, I'm always just as proud of someone who comes out, works hard, and finishes in the middle or the back of a race as those runners who are always at the front. As long as a runner is out there every day, working hard and focused on the goal of improving, I'm always going to be there cheering them on every step of the way. This season, we had some runners who came out having never participated in distance running before, and they really impressed me with their drive and tough-minded approach to the sport. Even on days where they were absolutely exhausted at the end of practice, they never complained and were ready the next day to challenge themselves all over again. For my returning runners, Austin, Ben, Ainsley, Peter, Finn, and Gia, I would like to thank you for your leadership and your amazing improvement this season. You brought so much energy and positive spirit to every practice, and you made all of our new runners feel welcome and supported from day one. Although we had many strong showings during the season, I was particularly proud of our performance at the developmental race at our conference championship at Panorama Farms in Charlottesville. At this race, which includes all of the JV and middle school runners in the BRC and VIC, nearly every one of our middle school runners set their personal best times of the season, which just reflected the consistency and hard work that this group had put in. Austin Prosser won the boys' developmental race in a time of 19:33, and Keely Prosser won the girls' race in a time of 20:54. It was just a phenomenal team performance that reflected all of the progress we had made as a team during the season. Thanks to all of our wonderful middle school runners for the great season, and with only 2 8th grade students on the team this year, we're looking to have an exceptionally strong middle school program as we move into next year. Thank you so much.
I want to define this JV field hockey season with one word: heart. I looked up some adjectives for the word heart, and this is what I came up with: caring, describes Eleanor as she stepped up for us as the 12th player for our summit game. She is kind and thoughtful. Pulse describes Millie as she was the heartbeat of our team, the lively, energetic quality that connected us all. Generous describes Maeve as she was big-hearted, unselfish, always willing to help, giving to her team in numerous ways. Loyal describes LP as she was dedicated to her team by playing goalie, steadfast teammate, always caring for us. Sincere describes Savannah as she was wholeheartedly committed to her team, genuinely cared about us, heartfelt support. Mighty describes Emma as she was extraordinary in playing through adversity, played on an injured foot all season, never gave up. Steady describes Merritt as we could always count on her to get the job done, no matter what it was, unfaltering teammate, constant. Willing describes Sophia Camp as she was always ready to help in any way she could, even play in a varsity game as a 7th grader. She was intentional in her drills and deliberate when it came to working hard for her team. Honest describes Maida as she was heartfelt and true with her teammates. A conscientious player, worked hard for her team. Sweet describes Peyton as she was always gentle and kind with her teammates. Good disposition. She's a sweetheart. Warm describes Annabelle as she is welcoming and friendly to her teammates. Good friend to all. A pleasure to be around. Cheerful describes Julia as she was always on the sidelines cheering on her teammates. Always upbeat, always smiling. Faithful describes Charlotte as she was at every field hockey event. We could always count on a positive response on band. Dependable teammate. Humble describes Samantha as she was rarely thinking about herself. She silently did the work that needed to be done, never brought attention to herself, but deflected it on her teammates. Brave describes Elizabeth as she came out to our summit game, never having played a field hockey game, nor much practice. But she stepped up to help the goalie save a goal. She never wavered. She showed up for her team, always courageous with all the new stuff that was thrown at her. Devoted describes Steele as she supports her mom in this coaching endeavor. Never complains, always shows up, loyal to our team. Thankful describes Coach Misha, Coach Lisa, and me, as we are so thankful for these girls. They helped us with the Pixies, made us laugh, played and worked hard for us, kept positive attitudes for us, and most importantly, played with heart for us. Our field hockey future certainly is bright. Thank you.
Well, this wasn't exactly the weather or the time of day that I had planned when I wanted to come up here and shoot my video, but here we are. Hello, my name is Tracy Schaefer, and I was the head coach for this year's 2021 North Cross School JV tennis team. And I'm excited to share with you everything that was awesome and special about our past season. Even though JV was in our name, we were still technically a middle school team, as our entire roster was comprised of 18 middle school players and only from grades 7 and 8. We had an exciting and successful season, including playing the first ever JV tennis schedule, where we had a chance to play real tennis. Plus, we went undefeated in all of our matches. Please don't tell the other 6 teams before you, but this team and this season was probably the best we've ever had in the history of the program. Our schedule, although not a large one, had been a dream of mine 2 years in the making and was actually the perfect mix of challenging JV tennis teams as well as traditional co-ed middle school teams that looked a lot like us. Our stronger players were challenged on several occasions throughout the season, and then even some of our newer players got a chance to travel and play in meaningful matches as well. Again, it was the perfect schedule for this particular team. And still bragging here, we defeated a very good VES twice, a really good Roanoke Valley Tennis Club once, tied our good old friends down at Ben Franklin Middle School, and even defeated a nice New Covenant varsity team. And then, just for kicks, we also put together a squad of girls only to defeat a very nice visiting Chatham Hall. Oftentimes, we had to be flexible with many of our opponents, For again, they were mostly all girls JV tennis teams, and so they weren't always expecting a co-ed middle school group of players. But at the end of the day, we made each match encounter a meaningful match, and we still went 5-0-1 and had tons of fun along the way. I guess another pleasing point about our team this year, and making them one of the best, if not the best ever, was just how incredibly nice they were to each other and how they just always seemed to get along with one another. Chemistry and compatibility are a big part of tennis, even in practice. So no matter who was paired with who, they always were encouraging and supportive of each other, which helped them all improve a ton as players and teammates throughout the season. Honestly, Coach Jim and I often said to each other how awesome this particular team was, and what a joy it was to go to the courts each and every afternoon with all 18 of these players. Speaking of Coach Jim, I cannot thank him enough for all that he does for our team, from teaching our players the finer points on their stroke techniques, to running drills, and of course always making our time together on the court fun with games. Also, you may not realize it, but he's the tennis court fairy and spends many hours keeping our courts blown and playable for all of our other teams each and every day. In closing, I want to sincerely thank my 14 8th graders for the years you have spent on this team, and to each of you for simply just being great leaders. And to my 4 7th graders, we need to get busy recruiting for next year's squad. There'll be some really big shoes to fill, and hopefully you 4 will keep up your games over this spring and summer and be ready to lead us next fall. Meanwhile, I'm equally excited to see the impact these 8th graders will have on their future varsity teams down the road. Tennis at North Cross is bright. Lastly, I'm truly grateful to our school and our athletic department, namely Blair and Chris Pollock, for giving this group a chance to compete as a JV tennis team and for allowing us to take our show on the road. I knew this team was going to be special, and the season did not disappoint, even if we caught a few of our opponents by surprise, which was often the case. Furthermore, I'm extremely proud of each and every player on this 2021 JV tennis team, and I thank you and your parents for supporting this program and for making my little dream come to fruition. Have a wonderful rest of your school year.